They had schizophrenia, bipolar disorder. Like those people need a review so they're not abusing these kids with their mental illness. And you got these people that are doing trans stuff. You should not be able to have children, adopt children.
Frankly disturbing story out of the state of Utah. A transgender woman and her partner are accused of kidnapping her child, allegedly to go take her to Cuba and get gender reassignment surgery.
I want to give a shout out to Verdict because Verdict has been doing tremendous and people absolutely love it. Great product, great quality. We're not messing around with that white labeling stuff. No, it's legitimate. We tasted it. We went through processes. I think 17 samples that we had to do to get the taste right. And you go and look at the reviews. Don't listen to B. Tatum. Look at the reviews. The best bourbon on the market. We're in multiple restaurants. We get in restaurants almost every week. We're in a new high-end restaurant. So if you're interested in Verdict, do the thing. All right, let's get to the next story of the day. This trans lunatic decided to kidnap the kid from the mother and take him to Cuba, allegedly to get the kid transitioned. Roll the clip.
So a wild and frankly disturbing story out of the state of Utah. A transgender woman and her partner are accused of kidnapping her child, allegedly to go take her to Cuba and get gender reassignment surgery. Madeline Rivera live in Washington with more on this. Maddie, what do we know?
Hey, good morning, Bill. So the case prompted the Justice Department to send a government plane to Cuba to bring the 10-year-old child back to the U.S. Federal officials say the child's biological father, Rose Inessa Ethington, who's now a transgender woman, and her partner took the 10-year-old for what was supposed to be a camping trip in Alberta, Canada, late last month. But they never made it to their hotel or campground. Instead, after crossing the Canadian border, the couple allegedly flew from Vancouver to Mexico City. Then they took another flight from Mexico to Havana. All of this happening, by the way, without the knowledge and permission of the child's biological mother. Court documents don't state whether Rose and her partner were actually planning on getting the child gender-affirming surgery in Cuba, but the FBI says they found notes at the couple's home with instructions from a D.C. mental health therapist to, quote, send the therapist the $10,000 and instructions on gender-affirming medical care for children. Rose's partner had withdrawn that exact amount in late March, per the complaint. Family members of the 10-year-old boy say they were worried Rose had manipulated him to identify as a girl. Rose's brother tells the New York Times she had been pushing for the child to get transition surgery since he was 5 years old. This seemed to be clearly all be coming from Rose, Rose's brother says. It was heartbreaking and hard for me to see. Rose and her partner have been charged with federal international parental kidnapping laws. They'll face the remainder of their court case in Utah.
Let me just say this, and I know a lot of people are going to be mad at me for saying this, and it's just my opinion. I don't have the rights or the ability to enforce anything that I'm saying. It's just an opinion. If you are a trans person, you shouldn't be able to have, you shouldn't be able to, there should be a review of your psychological, a psychological review of whether or not you can even have children. And if you already have them, there needs to be a review of whether or not you can keep them. Because this is clearly a mental illness. And everybody keep playing like it's not. Yeah, there's people that choose to be freaky and weird, and they wanna, over fetishize women. So a man wants to be a woman because it gets him off on it. That's different than people that really believe that somehow they're in the wrong body. That's a mental illness. And these people are struggling. It's no different than a person that is schizoaffective. They have schizophrenia, bipolar disorder. Like those people need a review so they're not abusing these kids with their mental illness. And you got these people that are doing trans stuff. You should not be able to have children, adopt children. And if you're sleeping with somebody, you have a child, that's different. But what I'm saying is that if you already have children or you naturally have children, you need to be evaluated mentally. And a determination needs to be made. Are you cognitive enough that you're not abusing, raping, or doing anything to your kids? That should be one. The second thing is that you cannot adopt children whatsoever if you have a mental illness of this nature. The same thing with two gay dudes. Like if it's two dudes should not be able to adopt children unless they're of a consenting age of they can make a determination as I understand the fullness of what's happening and I want to engage in this environment. then that would be only for a 17-year-old or something like that. But you shouldn't be subjugating children with no choice of their own to be inside of a mentally ill family. Two dudes together is mental illness. Something is not right with your mind that you want to be with another man. And I don't think that make you automatically a bad person, but that also you're subjecting that to a child. How is it fair for a child to not have a decision to say, I don't want to be involved in this dysfunction? Because two men are not a man and a woman. It never will be. And a kid shouldn't have to grow up and be like, I got two daddies and I don't have a mama. That's not the way God made us, even if outside of God. That's not the way human nature works. We need to stop. It's too late now. But I feel like that we should have put the guardrails on this stuff because it's out of control, man. And kids are suffering as a result. And you can lie all you want to yourself and say, yeah, I grew up with two daddies and I'm just normal and fine. That's bias. It's like you growing up with two drug dealers and you're going, what's the likelihood of this person being convinced that drug dealing is a viable option? Two people who are abusive. The likelihood of you being an abusive person is going to be highly likely. Two trans people, what are they doing to their kid? They trying to transition the kid.